Comedy. I am Madhurantika, and along with me today I have Rekha Mathew to host this very special episode of the District 91 podcast, Ditch the Nerves. We have been hosting this podcast together during its debut year, and I hope you have watched some of the episode and have enjoyed them.
Today, our guest is a very special person, distinguished Toastmaster Seema Menon, who has just stepped into her new role, being the District Director for District 91 for the term 2026-27. So why is it special? First, this podcast, Ditch the Nerves, is her brainchild. In many ways, she is the reason Madhu and I are sitting here today having these conversations and bringing stories from leaders across Toastmasters community into the wider audience. Second, she has just stepped into her new role as a district director, making the latest milestone in her inspiring Toastmaster journey that began more than a decade ago. From being the club president to area director, division director, public relations manager, club growth director, program quality director, and now a district director, Seema has climbed the leadership ladder through her dedication and commitment to service and purposeful leadership.
That's a lot of achievements, Seema. It's been a pleasure knowing you through this 1 year. This episode is also very special because this is the last episode that Rekha and I are putting together, because after this, we have a new team that is going to take over the hosting of Ditch the Nerves. Thank you, Seema, for joining us today. Welcome to this episode of Ditch the Nerves, your brainchild.
It's totally my pleasure to be here after a year of working together, and for all the amazing work that you have done right from scratch, trying to put it together and thinking of a title, learning about it. We've grown together in this, and thank you so much for everything that you have done till now.
Thanks for the opportunity. If you look back, Seema, to the last 1 year, your journey as the program quality director to being the district director now, what would be that one word or one phrase which would describe your journey?
Not just the last 1 year, right? I would say the last decade, it has always been about becoming. That would be the key word that I say. It's about becoming someone. And it's not that we are arriving at a destination. So I am the district director now. That's not the destination. It's an entire journey about continuously becoming a better person, a better leader, and understanding what the limitations are. What are the flaws, looking within and being aware of that. I think that has been the journey for me. Looking at my flaws, my fears, my successes, and thinking about how can I be more authentic with myself so that I can lead more authentically. That would be the one word I would use.
True, and that I think resonates very well with the Toastmasters values that we have.
Absolutely.
What were some of the other key initiatives which did well, or something which was very close to you, something which you were passionate about?
I've always thought about reinventing and how can we make things better, building on the amazing work that my predecessors have done. So over the last 2 years, we did Ditch the Nerves podcast. We did Ditch the Nerves London Underground campaign, Ditch the Nerves interview sessions, jobs fair, drop-in sessions. We brought about mid-year contest connect last year, mentor buddy. These were some of the initiatives that we did. And I keep saying we because it's not an individual success. It's Toastmaster members like you and me who have come together to bring the ideas to fruition. Some things are successful, some don't work out, but that's fine, right? It's all about trying, and Toastmasters offers that safe space for you to try, make mistakes, learn from it and grow. And what has stood out most from me is to see each of the volunteers glow in their and shine in their leadership journey, how they have become better leaders in that space, how they have taken ownership of the concept and driven that, keeping in mind, as you said, the values that as Toastmasters we stand for. How is it that we can make things a better place for our members and our leaders? I think that's what has stayed with me. And as an emotion, it's more about gratitude. Gratitude that I have had the opportunity to do this. Gratitude that I have met so many wonderful people along the way. And been able to try things and help them grow in their own journey. So that's what stays with me.
Like a true leader, Seema. The limelight is not on you, but on all the other that you have nurtured. And I'm sure Rekha will agree with me. When we started this journey, you gave us the guidance, but at the same time, you gave us the free hand. And I think that's what helped Rekha and me take this forward. Isn't that, Rekha?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the two words that you said, Seema, which is becoming and reinventing. I think those so well resonated with many of the guests actually who were part of the podcasts, all the way from the world champions to even like accomplished leaders in their own career. We've constantly seen people reinventing themselves and becoming more of themselves throughout their journey. I wanted to really ask you about your own journey in terms of, was there a turning point in your life or your career that you would like to share with us in terms of what changed you drastically into becoming the leader you are today?
I think when I joined Toastmasters, like most of us, I joined to become a better communicator. But what I found is that it not only highlighted my strengths, but it also gave me an insight into my flaws. And I was able to take that back to my works. I used to work for Sony Pictures at that time. I was leading a team for UK and Europe. But this working with volunteers and helping everyone buy into a common vision and work effectively together, I was able to then take that back into my work environment and work with teams who were reporting to me. It also gave me the confidence to step out of my comfort zone as a leader, go to different geographies like Europe, Africa, and I was leading virtual teams long before it became the norm, pre-COVID times. So I think I got a lot of confidence from Toastmasters for that. But knowing that these are some of my drawbacks also made me a bit uncomfortable in my own skin. But also it helps you understand that when you stop pretending to know it all, and when you bring the authentic self and you're willing to accept that, yes, these are some of my drawbacks, it helps you become a better leader. Yeah. And that is one thing that I would also share with any Toastmaster, right? You don't need to know everything. There are people, there are leaders who have done this, who have that knowledge, and it's okay to lean onto them for that support. And that's what Toastmasters taught me.
Yeah. Finding that support system, be it within your friend circle or your professional circle or Toastmasters community to help you support in your journey, I think is an important part, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to do everything all by yourself. As a woman, initially when I was getting into leadership roles, my mindset was I have to keep proving myself. I need to be there. I have to prove myself. I have to break all the glass ceilings that's there. And I kept doing that for a large part of my journey. But then there was a point when I felt I was burning out trying to be someone who I wasn't. And then when I accepted that, it helped me to reach out for help. It helped me to realize that I don't have to be perfect in everything. It's okay. I'm a work in progress, right? And remembering that constantly, and that's been the transformation journey for me.
When it comes to Toastmasters, I think it is truly, truly the safe space. I don't know how many times I have leveraged the platform to improve on or even learn things that I didn't know at all. And it has really provided the safe space and given the confidence. It's like you open yourself up and you still feel very comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
When we join Toastmasters, we think about the club, the area, something within Toastmasters. But we heard a lot of stories about how Toastmasters helps us beyond Toastmasters. Any thoughts on that, Seema? How do we encourage members to think much bigger than just delivering a speech at the club?
Yeah, I can give you my example, and I'm sure you both will also have things to add. I would love our audience to hear about your journeys too. So my example is, it did not just give me confidence. It gave me courage to change my careers from media into technology, to run and lead international teams, to speak in global platforms and industry forums, to become a keynote speaker, become a coach and a mentor. And all these things have been possible because of that courage to step out of my comfort zone and overcoming those limiting beliefs. Not that I am perfect now, as I mentioned, I'm still work in progress, but it helped me reinvent myself and it gave me the confidence that it's okay. I may succeed, I may not succeed. That's fine. But at least I haven't gone through a decade doing something which I didn't enjoy and regretting that I didn't try. And I think Toastmasters gives you that confidence to try. And that is something that we must always remember, that we are not defined by who we were yesterday. We can learn and change our trajectory. We can create new versions of ourselves. It helped me become more of what I was capable of becoming, is what I would say. It made me realize that there is more that I can still try and I don't have to be defined by the box that I was sitting in.
You put us in a thinking mode.
Is there anything that you think I should add to what you asked?
I was just reflecting the same thing. It's so true for me, and I'm sure it's true for so many of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Rekha?
Yeah, I was just reflecting on what you were saying, and I think I'm very much early stage of my journey with Toastmasters. I'm still like finding my feet, I would say. But it's such a breath of fresh air in terms of doing the podcast in the first year or just within the first year of me joining, because I was able to understand public speaking from a different point of view, unlike the traditional journey a typical Toastmaster would take within the Toastmasters club. So I'm just so thankful. Yet I think it has also put me in a place where I'm sort of like the ground under my feet is a bit like shaken. I'm like, where am I going? Like, is it this direction, that direction? So I'm in that stage. But I would say for sure, without me even knowing, like the number of people that I've spoken to throughout the podcast has inspired me in such a huge way. Their voice keeps coming back to me. The conversation keeps coming back to me time and again when I'm in a certain juncture of my career, be it within my company or like in a personal relation. I get so much inspiration from that. So it's just been so interesting, that journey. I've just been so grateful having that access to so many people that I've spoken to from world champions in the last 5 years. It has been such an eye-opening moment for me. And I've just learned so much, and now just figuring out the next stage for me, what that might look like, which I'm still unsure of. But yeah, it's been good.
Toastmasters offers so many things, and I'm sure, Rekha, you'll find a number of things to pick up from.
Absolutely. And Rekha, there's no fixed structure. That's the beautiful thing about Toastmasters. It's your journey. You can go as fast as you want. You can meander along and come back. It's, you carve your journey. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. So, whether you were tiptoeing into the scene or jumping with both feet in, that's the choice you have as an individual. And you sometimes you find you have to take a pause. That's okay. It's fine to do that. But then come back, because remind yourself why you joined Toastmasters. At every stage when you are in two minds, whether to attend your club meeting or not, just remind yourself, why did I join Toastmasters? And then that will give you the reason for continuing.
Yeah, so true.
Then, Seema, you asked me if I was interested in hosting the podcast, and I thought the hosting part was easy, but the reason why I signed up for it was I had no clue about video recording, video editing, and I took it up not because I was good at it, but because I did not know anything about it. But it's a skill which has become so important nowadays, and I thought I needed to do it. And the funny thing was that when I started doing it, thanks to a lot of help from Rekha, from Alan, I figured out how this works, and I realized that the technological part of it was actually quite easy, thanks to these fantastic platforms and the apps and the AI, everything. And I realized how much I actually needed to improve when I'm on camera, and the question answer, the promptness to respond when you're interviewing. So I learned actually much more about hosting a podcast, which I thought I was quite comfortable with, rather than the technological part, which I thought would be very tough, and it wasn't. So I think my learning was like, okay, you come in with something, but you rediscover yourself and you learn new things all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's why for me it was important that we give opportunity to members who are not professionals in that space, so that others get inspired to step up into a new role and try something new. Like I mentioned, you don't have to have the facade of perfection, or you don't need to wear the perfect mask when you're doing something. It's okay. We are all learning, and if you see your first episode and you see your last episode, you can see the journey and the transition that's happened, right? And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe just going back to your journey, Seema, in terms of your new role, which we are so excited about, and the amazing things that you're going to do for the club and the district. Would love to hear more about what is your vision for District 91 for this term 2026-2027.
As I have mentioned in my various, whether it was interviews or the candidate showcase or my acceptance speech, it's built around 3 words. So it's simple, supportive, and sustainable. The idea is, how is it that we can make our district supportive for each member, each club, each leader, so that leaders don't feel overwhelmed and that they're able to fulfill their responsibility and learn in that process. Similarly, every member should feel supported by all the leaders and the district themselves. The other one is about simplifying processes. How can we make things simpler than what it is? These are ideas that have come over the years, and therefore, how can we improve it further? How can we ensure that it adds value to people, where they're not doing things just for the sake of doing it, but it adds, it makes it more meaningful from that perspective. And sustainability is the other thing that I would like to do. So whatever we do, how can we ensure that it continues beyond 1 year, beyond one leadership term? And so that the next set of leaders can build on it further and make it a better process. There might be some things, like I mentioned earlier, that we have to let go because we tried, it didn't work, and that's fine, right? But we did try, and that's what the learning is about. And I've seen that when people feel that they're being seen, they're being heard, they're being valued, they flourish. And that's what makes our district strong. Our district is a strong district. If you would know that. How can we take it to become a globally known brand as District 91 amongst all the other districts in the world? And that's the focus of excellence that we're working towards.
Wow, that's pretty good. The 3 S, right? Simple, sustainable, and
Supportive.
supportive. Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to do exceptional at all 3 of them. And yeah, would love to see that coming into like a tangible form in the next 1 year.
And it's not me or myself, right? It's all of us working towards that.
Any key message, Seema, for our audience?
Keep reminding yourself why you joined Toastmasters, whether it's confidence or building your communication skills, leadership, or growth, whatever it is. Just think about that whenever you are on the anvil or you're undecided what next. And sometimes it might be just to have that community around you to support you in your journey in life. And always say yes to opportunities. Jump with both feet in. You don't need to know everything. As a leader, I don't know everything. Yeah, but you learn along the way. Have an open mind to learn something new. When you are faced with difficult situations, take a step back and be the fly on the wall, looking at that situation and understanding what the other person is going through. When you're facing that challenge, and bring your whole self into this journey. Don't have a plan B, or I will dip in and see if it works for me. Just jump in, because every meeting that you attend, every club meeting, every contest that you attend, you gain, even if you get one nugget of information or knowledge or one connection or something that inspires you, it's worth the time you've spent over there. So just do it. If I had to take the tagline of another brand, just stay curious and remember that vulnerability is not a weakness. It's often a starting point of genuine leadership. When you show your vulnerability, you're ready to embrace growth, and it's important to know that. It's time for me to ask you guys some questions, right? Rekha, you have had so many conversations with Toastmaster leaders over the years, and more so in the last year, right, as a podcast host. Was there anything that surprised you and any key takeaway for the next set of podcast hosts?
As I was saying before, there were so many takeaways. I would say the couple of things that comes to my mind. One is something that you mentioned previously, which is people who get to the top don't do it alone. They have their own set of support system, be their friends, coaches, mentors, and every episode or every podcast interview has really pushed me and reminded me to reach out to that one mentor who I've been reluctantly waiting to message or having a second thought of whether I should like reach out to this person. It just pushed me and go for it because this person told me to. It has also helped me to overcome some of those hesitation that I've had. But I think what I've seen throughout, like Beat speaking to Sabyasachi, who was a world champion of public speaking in 2025, he has like mentors, like emotional support mentor, a coach, like speaking mentor, and even like logistical support whenever he's traveling around. So he has his entire crew going around him and helping him to reach where he is. So that's something that really I've taken into my own life very seriously and have worked on building like a support system in my own journey of Toastmasters. And I think apart from that, I would say they've all been very curious, and that has been quite inspirational. They love to keep learning, they love to keep exploring, and be it like subjects that are not even related to what their profession is. Like I was speaking to Aditya Maheshwaran, who was 3 times at the world champion Toastmasters, and he said that he loves exploring like philosophy and neuroscience, and he's not even like a person working in that field, but how he's been like so passionately exploring those topics and making that a part of his understanding of people, understanding of leadership, understanding of communication has been like so interesting, I would say. And even like when I spoke to Cyril, who was world champion in 2022, he has also said his journey of learning literature since he was a childhood has really shaped him to use the kind of words that he used and to make an impact through putting together words that people would feel or would really touch them through his learning of literature and getting into that topic. So I think everyone's just been like so curious to learn about the world, about things around them, and have those specific fields of interest that made me also think and to take away into my own journey is how to be passionate about something, even like apart from Toastmasters, and how to be inspired by that you can bring aspect of it into your Toastmasters journey. And yeah, I think in terms of surprise, I would say how like even though they all like in their own like top level of their own career, be it world champion, be it like top corporate career in their career, they're on the top of their career ladder. The emotions that all of them feel, like fear, vulnerability, they're all the same, and we're all speaking the same language. And in spite of feeling all of that, seeing what they've achieved has been so inspiring, and overcoming that fear and going at it again has been really interesting to see how they have, from where they have come to where they have gone. So I think that has surprised me in terms of how much people can achieve if you put your mind to it and keep going and fight all of the odds and embracing that journey basically that you have to reach where you have to. So yeah, it's been really amazing. I've learned so much and I've taken so many learnings from the last 1 year, I would say.
Amazing. Did you take it to your hackathon, which you won?
Of course. I was replaying some of those videos because you get those videos after you have done the pitch, and I couldn't believe like the person I was on stage. It things that are unconscious, like mannerisms, I would say, maybe body language, maybe like not using a lot of or just those little subtle things which I've not really thought about much, but I've learned over the time, and it has shown while speaking to an audience. So I would definitely say it has impacted me in a way that I have not even planned, and so great to see that journey I've had as well.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure it will inspire the next set of hosts when they come in. Madhu, how has hosting this impacted you?
For me, Seema, as I said, I took up this role because I had no clue about video editing and all. And when I look at it, beginning of the year, end of the year, it's a big tick mark. I know how to record videos, edit videos. I know the different apps and how to do the editing. So it's an objective met. But at the same time, a lot of other objectives met, which was not in the plan. I work on financial regulations. So it's a very formal environment in which we work, but it has definitely impacted the way I interact with people, high level officials, leading panel discussions, moderation. These are various forms of hosting, right? I've just become more conscious about it. When you're doing a podcast and when you see your recording, you see yourself, which is not what you do in a live situation. I think that makes a huge difference. And I think what was very encouraging for me was, Seema, the way all the guests that we invited responded to our request. The highest officials, starting from the international president, everybody said a yes. Everybody was responsive. Everybody had the time. Everybody was planned. They went through the questions. They discussed. So it was casual, but yet there was a structure to it. And everybody takes it so seriously. Toastmasters is voluntary, but we are so dead serious about it, about the commitment we make. And I think that was so encouraging. And apart from that, I think every interview there was something new to learn. It was about how we need to be more responsible as public speakers. Every word that we say carries weight. Then there was a session where we talked about inclusive leadership. How do you make sure that everybody in the team is included? Or something simple as, I remember Gauri saying, it's something I knew, but I didn't ever think it, that how important a club is. Because a member always joins or leaves a club. They don't join an area or a division or a district. True, we all know it, but to think about it and why the executive committee of a club is so important. Then the role of mentoring. There were so many nuggets about doing this. Why undertake a DTM journey? And what is the leadership component of a DTM journey? So things which probably I knew, but to put it in that structure, put it in those words, I think there was definitely a learning from each and every episode that I hosted. It was a fantastic experience.
I'm loving it. Thank you so much for this, because I think when both of you said yes, you took that step to discover what you're capable of becoming, right? And that's been the journey for all of us, I think.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks to you for reaching out to us and giving us the opportunity. And we couldn't be more thankful for all that you have done for us, for the district, for the club. So thanks to you for all of the things that you have done, and wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate you once again on this wonderful opportunity of stepping into your new role. I'm super excited actually to see the things that you'll be doing, all of the initiatives. The things gonna go viral. We're gonna be all on social media, and we're gonna be buzzing. I can't wait to get to that stage of seeing all of the buzz around all of the initiatives that you do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Seema. And with you at the helm for District 91, I'm sure that we are going to create history.
Yeah, I find all this too high a pedestal and too high a ambitious message. I think it's just that permission to learn, to grow, and giving ourselves that permission that we don't have to be fully prepared. So whilst we can keep building on the things that we're working on, it's not necessary that there's a huge ambition, excepting for striving for excellence. And that's one of the things we want to keep working on. And thank you so much. And I hope you've enjoyed this journey. And thanks so much for bringing the story of leaders to us at District 91. You brought leaders from across the world to share those stories with us. I can't express more gratitude than this for you believing in the vision and running with it and bringing your own perspectives to that and bringing your own personality into that. And thanks for being part of this journey. I am looking forward to the two new podcast hosts, Glenn and Monica, who will definitely pick on the amazing work you've done and take this podcast to the next level. Thanks for listening. Thanks for serving. And remember, keep calm, ditch the nerves, as the journey continues.
Absolutely. Keep calm and lead on.
Lead on.
All the best, Seema, for the coming year. And thanks, Rekha, for being such an excellent co host.
Thank you. Thanks to you.